Join the savage tribe. New takes weekly, unfiltered and raw. Isaac's voice, the memer's law.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 11 of the Golden Age podcast. And we're here for a very special Memorial Day. And we're going to take a moment to get to that in a second. Thank all our veterans and everybody who we're very appreciative for. But first off, Cornboy, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
Happy Memorial Day to all the veterans and their families and people who lost loved ones in their fight for freedom. Happy to be here and ready to have a great show today. Thanks for Nerd Slap for joining us.
Yeah, Nerd Slap, thanks for joining us. And how are you doing? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it, and I'm doing real well. Just been kind of busy today. We recorded another episode of the Nerd Files, and got that edited, but not uploaded quite yet. So that'll be coming out soon. But yeah, it's been a pretty busy day. Got off the hip after this. Might do a stream after that. We'll see. So, but yeah, thanks again for the invite.
Man. Absolutely. And if you guys want to check out Nerd Slap stuff, all his links are in the description. Check them out. Good stuff. So first, we're going to hit up the chat. We got Irwin's New Potato.
Yo.
We got Alex. We got Just JK, man. We got Stank Man. How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. We got UK Gamer. And we got Cornboy. And got Cornboy and Nerd Slap on the panel. So good to catch up with everybody. Thank you all for being here. First things first, we always like to start out with funny stuff. We're changing that up a little bit right now. We're going to start off, because it is Memorial Day, we're going to quickly look at this video from the official White House page on X. And let me full screen this, actually. This is a 70-second video honoring our heroes of this country. Let's check it out. And that's what it's all about. So we want to give a big thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody who has known someone or is someone who has either served or lost someone who has served. You know, it's not just those who have come back. We got to remember, too, there's many that didn't make it back and many families out there that have been affected by this in this country and many others. And we thank you all. So we just want to start off with that. We usually start off with a little silliness, but we had to say a big thank you to all you guys. So moving on with more Memorial Day stuff, and then we're going to talk about it. I just want to quickly show this video from, you guys know Pete Hegseth is our new Secretary of Defense. I'm quite pleased with him so far. You know, the media has been trying to tear him down for ever since before he was even nominated. They were all these smears.
100% negative coverage means he's doing well in my book.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So let's see. I agree. Let's see what he had to say for this Memorial Day. And I'm pretty pleased. This is the type of strength and power we need in this country again. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. It's almost 6 minutes, but just the beginning of today's speech.
Vice President Vance, Chairman Kane, Gold Star families.
This is at Arlington.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today to remember our fallen warriors. We gather here to honor our very best, gone in their youth. To properly do so, we understand who they are and what they fought for. It is our simple duty to them. You know, throughout time, civilizations have honored the powerful.
And I just wanted to show that real quick because this is the type of strength we need again in this country. You know, we need guys like Pete. You look at the last administration a year ago, you know, and it's not even about Republican or Democrat at this point. It's about strength versus weakness, which you could argue are the same thing. But we need guys like Pete up there on the stage who are proud patriots, proud to be American, you know, in this country, and not apologizing for being strong, not apologizing for being brave, but boldly proclaiming American superiority and strength and greatness, you know. So I just had to share that. And what do you guys think so far of, you know, we don't have to go do a whole essay on Pete, but just initially, what you see from that, this type of imagery coming from the White House this Memorial Day, that versus last year, what's your initial impression?
I would say it's good to be back. You know, that's that feeling of strength and the feeling that countries actually respect us again. It feels good after all the crap we went through the last administration. It feels good. It feels like a win. So I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and pretty much it's everything I voted for on that. And you know, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and the wrong people are fighting against it. So I'm happy to see that you know, the people I don't agree with are upset at all this.
Absolutely. Very well said. I totally agree. You know, if the mainstream media hates him, it's going to make me like him pretty well right off the bat. So that's on its face right there. Pretty happy with Pete. And one more thing with American supremacy. I just had to show this video real quick. This is pretty cool. This was from Dan Scavino Jr. on X. Look at this, man. Slow-mo shot. Not sure if this is copyright. Down. But look at that. That's a real slow motion shot of one of our fighters. And
that is awesome.
That. American supremacy right there. Hell yeah. The thrusters, the everything. Weapons deployment. Beautiful. Amazing
Nothing
shot.
beats that F-22.
No, man. So I thought that was pretty cool. And today we're all about celebrating America. So good to see stuff like that again, you know, and makes you proud to be an American. So a little on to something a little more, I don't even want to say lighthearted, but we're breaking the stream of consciousness here a little bit. We do have a celebration to share from yesterday. There was a big anniversary, very big success. And I just want to wish George Floyd a very happy 5-year anniversary of sobriety.
Woo! Yeah, congrats, man.
Way to go.
Yeah, he has not touched the fent for 5 years, and I just got to say, good job, man. You know, I hope.
Here's to 5 more.
We're all proud of you.
Absolutely, here's to many more years of sobriety. So, congrats. I almost put that picture in the thumbnail and decided, you know what, we're gonna go a little classier this week. So, yeah.
You could have put my face on him. I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, we could always do that sometimes. So 5 years sober, you love to see it. So yeah, I know I had to do it, but on to something we're going to get into a little bit of we like to talk about how politics and culture, you know, politics is downstream from culture is the famous Andrew Breitbart quote. And we've had an issue in this country with cancel culture for many years now, and it's hard to quite pinpoint where that started. You know, you can say it was 2016, 2015 when Trump announced TDS went full ramped up and Hollywood just, their brain totally broke. In my mind, one of the first, I don't even want to say victims, but one of the first people that encountered cancel culture was Phil Robertson, Duck Dynasty, back in the day. And we do have a couple things to pull up about him, and just we have to say Phil, the patriarch of the Robertson family of the famous Duck Dynasty show, if any of you guys have watched it, he did pass away the other day at 79 years old. And, you know, we grieve for his loss. He's a great American patriot, but also we celebrate. He was proudly proclaimed the name of Christ. So we know he's with his Lord, and we have that confidence for Phil, and we know his family has that piece as well. So just had to go over that. But talking about cancel culture, I'm going to pull this up next. Phil years ago when the show Duck Dynasty was still on air, he had a very factual and true statement about degeneracy in this country. And he said something that the left didn't really like. And as you can see here, the first shot of counter-revolution came from this guy, of all guys. You know, many would see, oh, that's just old redneck from Louisiana down in the swamp, a duck hunter or whatever. But this guy, in my mind, was one of the big first shots of the counter-revolution against cancel culture. He said, fine, I'm a preacher. I'm telling you the truth, man. You know, this stuff is degenerate. We're not going to take it. And he stood on facts. And I think he was absolutely right, you know, and they were blessed as a result of it. I don't know if any of you guys have watched, they have a podcast now, they have all their own personal media, everything, you know.
Nice.
And
And
I just think it's
lots
a
of
good
merchandise, and it's
yeah,
well
it's
made.
just a good test.
Stuff.
He
It's a
certainly
good
wasn't afraid to
testimony.
speak his mind. None of them are really. They're
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
very open about their beliefs and their morals, which is nice.
Absolutely.
It's good
And
to
I
see.
think it's a great testimony to not be afraid of the studios. You know, the TV studio can say, well, if you say that, we're canceling you. And he said, okay, cool. I'm standing on
I'm
facts
saying it.
and truth. So I think that's a good example for all of us. You know, don't be afraid of the mob. Never bow to the cancel culture mob. You know, any of us, you know, we've all deal with this stuff. We're not getting into it, but we deal with social media stuff. People come after you, even though we're little people here on social media. We're essentially nobodies in the grand scheme of things. Not to dumb down what we do, but you know, I mean, we're not this guy getting 1 million viewers on TV. But
I'm just a
I
guy
think-
named Nerd Slap.
Yeah.
yeah, nerd slap, and we collect nerd stuff, and we're kind
Yeah,
of
we got toys.
I know.
We played
man.
Minecraft on
Yeah.
online with each other. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess having fun is illegal now or something, but
Not
I
allowed
don't
to have
know. It's
hobbies.
just no, it's awful. I guess you know, just got to be miserable all the time, like certain people online. So I think it's just something to say to all of us: be bold, stand in truth, and never bow to the retards on the internet. You know. So we're gonna pull this up, and this is just the last thing talking about Phil. This sucks. HuffPost smears him after his passing. They call him homophobic after the man died. Come on, the family's dealing with loss. He passed. Why do you
I
gotta?
wouldn't expect much less from HuffPost, though.
They have no
Trash
shame.
news.
They have no reverence at all. You know, imagine this was your grandfather that passed, and a newspaper or media agency was going out there and saying, "Oh, he's this, he's a that, he's a islamophobe." You know, it's like
If that happened to me, that movie Falling Down is becoming a reality.
Yes, sir. I think that's a very good analogy. You know, that was actually I think a documentary, just like Stargate was a documentary too. so.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And we're gonna check in real quick. We got Diz in chat, we got Rizkit. So good to see you guys. And
Hail, guys.
we have a lot more articles to get into. I wanted to knock those out first. Just basically, to hell with cancel culture. We know many other people in the community and larger people, and everybody's been dealing with this. And I think it's time to cancel culture. You know, we saw stuff in terms of free speech recently. Some lady said some things on a playground that people didn't like, and she made out almost $1 million for donations. And whether it's right or wrong, that's not the argument here. It's the point is we can say whatever we want in this country. We have the First Amendment, and there's nothing you can do about it, whether you like it or not. So that's that. And
Well, that's the
I
thing.
think
It's-
that's
Couldn't
okay.
agree more.
Not everyone's always going to be happy. It's impossible to make everybody happy. So something
Absolutely.
you say, something you do, it's always going to piss somebody off.
Yep.
And the moment you try to pander to everybody is when you absolutely appeal to nobody. You have to know your audience. Know your audience, cultivate your viewership, and keep them happy. And the ones whining off in the corner were never fans of yours anyway. So why
You guys
waste
know
your time?
that Bo Burnham song, "Welcome to the Internet."
I think I've heard it. I don't know the name off my head. What's it about?
Basically, it's just like all this crazy stuff that happens on the internet, and it's kind of like if this is your first time, you're in for a real treat kind of thing. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, him or somebody should have made one called "Welcome to America,"
Yeah,
and it would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect fit.
that's true. I mean, imagine now being first introduced to the internet, all the stuff we
my
have that you're just bombarded with, you know.
Imagine
you
coming out
imagine?
of a 25-year coma. Wow.
I know.
Could you imagine showing like a caveman the internet?
I think he would.
I couldn't imagine showing someone from the 50s the internet.
Yeah, right. I know.
I mean, you look at the baby boomers; they get fooled by AI videos all the time now on Facebook. So that's
now
dangerous
AI
enough as
phone
it is.
calls they're getting fooled
my
by too,
word.
which is
Those
becoming
are
a real
It's
problem.
scary. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
scary.
it's getting bad.
But we do have good news on the horizon. Joe Rogan went
Oh.
from being highly critical of, Christianity. He was whatever he was. I don't even want to put a label on him. He can speak for himself. But according to here, the Western Journal, and many other people talking about Joe Rogan, it's being said that he is now attending church regularly.
Wow.
So from being, I've watched his show for years, not every single one, but I've seen several of them. And, and he's been a skeptic, a critic. He's not been a practicing Christian, I don't believe, up
No.
until
I
whenever.
wonder if Butler, Pennsylvania had anything to do with it.
I think that woke a lot of people up. I think that was a very, very, shall we say, big revelation for a lot of people that miracles are very real, and that showed a lot of people that God has a greater plan. And I think this is a great thing. Joe has a lot of influence in the world. His podcast is like the biggest on the planet, I think. And the fact that someone like that is attending church regularly, according to this, I think that's a big win, because now the younger men, a lot of guys my age, even younger, Gen Z and going into Gen Alpha now, even younger teenagers are listening to guys like Joe. And I say, man, this is great. This is a great revelation in this country. So
He is a
more
big
power to
influence.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
he's.
time.
I would
Huge.
say he's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, podcast in the world.
Right.
I totally agree.
And I mean, I'll throw him on every so often when I'm at work, and easily knock out 3-4 episodes a day if I want to.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah,
He's an
and you can get
amazing
your work done
conversationalist.
too while he's talking too. I mean,
Exactly.
it's a great format.
And I still have time to make memes.
Absolutely. And I don't, like I said, I don't listen to every show. It depends very much on the guest. There's different guys I like more than others. Kurt Metzger, if he's on, I watch every
was a
single
good
episode
show.
of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
liked him.
Mel Gibson, that episode, highly recommend it. Trump, JD Vance, those are some good episodes. So, but very happy to hear this. I just had to cover this because I think this is a great revelation, and I agree with Alex here. Mel Gibson potentially played a big part in this. Mel did, evangelize to him and basically put it out on the line. He's like, man, Buddha died, all the other guys died. Jesus came back, so he laid it out on the line and said it is the way it is, and hopefully it hit Joe where he had to hear it, and I think that's a pretty cool thing. So big win, I think, in the culture
Need more
war.
like him.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
think Rizkit has a point. The mushrooms will wear out soon enough. Hopefully he can flush that out of his system and maybe think a little more sober-mindedly at some point, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
One more win culturally, and we'll just cover this really quickly. Texas House passed a bill mandating the Ten Commandments be displayed in Texas public schoolrooms again.
Let's go.
So, heck yeah, I think that's a massive win. What's so wrong about kids seeing "Don't kill your neighbor"? Don't steal, don't lie. These are basic tenets of a moral fabric of a nation, and knowing that it comes from the highest authority that is key.
Yeah, I mean,
key.
culturally, the Ten Commandments can be traced back to not just religion, but to the start of civilization as we know it.
Basic
Absolutely.
rules for humanity.
Absolutely.
I think that this should be in every school. I mean, nationwide. I mean,
I totally agree.
Same
Worldwide,
thing
really.
with saying the pledge. I mean, I don't think a whole lot of schools do that anymore. I remember when I was in school, every morning we said the pledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so sadly, they do want to kill patriotism, morality, a sense of, that sense of community that knits us together as a nation, and they want to break that, and they want to push their own ideology, their corrupt, sick, wicked stuff in the schools where they know people are most highly influenced, impressionable as children. So massive win. Texas, you guys ain't perfect down there, I tell you, but that's a win.
I mean, with what the teachers in most states have been putting in their classroom, this is a welcome change. So
I totally agree. So big win. And, for those of you that don't live in Texas, I guess maybe, homeschool your kids if you can, not a bad option too. Highly, highly advocate for that if possible. And speaking of the youth in our country, it's being rumored that the Democrat Party is trying to pander, and I use that word very specifically, pander to the young male voter again. Now, I, as a young male, mid-20s voter, Gen Z, I voted for Trump every time I was legally old enough to do so, and I will continue to do so, and I'll never vote Republican, never vote Democrat. I have never voted Democrat, and I never will. Always voted Republican or Libertarian or Independent. And what do you guys think of this? They want to spend $20 million to reclaim support from young men, according to the New York Times. There's a plan called SAM, Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan that will study the syntax used by young men to create viral posts online and recommends ad buys within video games. So when you're playing a game, you might get a pop-up ad that says, vote Democrat. What do you guys think?
Oh, God. It just goes to show they have to focus group everything. They
Yes.
don't know what they're doing. Like their vice presidential candidate said, they chose him because he can code talk to the white people. They have no idea. They've gotten so far out of touch.
They
Who
are
thought
so
this was a good idea? Like, honestly, oh
Maybe
yeah,
David Hogg.
That's definitely
Good.
going to make people vote Democrat. As they're in the middle of like a massive, like, let's say 12-hour stream, right? And they're about to beat a final boss. And then all of a sudden it just pops up, vote Democrat. That's going to
Yeah.
make me quit playing the game.
Yep.
I will
And
go and
definitely
not
I'll go
vote
and make a
Democrat.
refund.
Just out of spite, even if I didn't know politics, I'd be like, bro, screw you. I'm voting for the
Exactly.
opposite guy. You ruined my game. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, the Republicans don't come in messing with my game. I'm voting for them. You guys stink,
Mhm.
So honestly, I say whether they do it, whether they don't do it, I think it's going to backfire either way because these people are so out of touch. They have gone so far to the left, so insane. They have lost the normie voter. They've totally lost the young male voting bloc forever, I think. So they're cooked.
For
I
at
hope
least
they
a
keep getting more
generation.
radical.
Yep.
I totally agree.
Let's let them
Just
talk.
JK. Mhm. Yes, exactly. So instead of actually listening, they're going to use AI to focus group online. Exactly. These people don't have an original thought in their head. And you know what? If it helps us to win going forward, I'm perfectly okay with that. And when I say us, I'm not even a Republican. I'm not enrolled in a political party.
Well, it's
I believe,
because they can't accept reality and they live in a fantasy world of their own making, and they're trying to make it come
Exactly.
through. And there's a whole bunch of pushback on it that is deserved in this case.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And we'll see if they learn from their mistakes. I don't know. They keep pushing guys like David Hogg,
They won't.
Beto O'Rourke, AOC, all these people,
They never
mean,
learn.
No. What do you think? You think they have a chance with a AOC Bernie Sanders ticket in 2028? You think that's going to go over well?
Oh, totally. That's going to win the vote. Yeah. That's what everybody
sure.
wants.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. The bigotry of no expectation, or as we say, the bigotry of low expectations. It's like they're appealing to you by calling you stupid. It's like,
Yep.
gee, thanks. I really appreciate it. You've won me over. So whatever. Moving on. Democrats are going to Democrat. And
I agree with Stank
Democrats.
Man.
I agree. I totally agree. And you could say some people hit the wall at a certain age too, but we'll just leave that there. But that's irrelevant to politics. Speaking of which, June is right around the corner.
Oh, hey.
And this is pretty cool. A Pride event. And, we say Pride comes before the fall, and which it does.
That's one of
Pride
the
is
seven deadly sins.
yes, and but a Pride event has been losing major corporate sponsors. They may not be able to have their parades anymore.
Oh,
What
no.
a sad thing. Oh, no.
Whatever shall we do?
I know. So this
What
tells you right
happened?
here what we've been saying for years now. Vote with your dollar. Vote with companies to the best of your ability. None of us are perfect. We still buy products from things. Not perfect, but when you can, support people that support you, because here we are seeing that these people are losing their money. It's here from Heterosexual Awesomeness Incorporated. This is affiliated with Native Patriot and Old State Saloon here on X. Great guys. And Winning. Whatever you do, do not support Pride. They are coming after your children. We know this. So vote with your dollar, guys. And we say it. Don't think that you don't matter. Don't think that you don't.
Eventually,
voice matters.
the profit losses will get through to them.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just keep doing what we're doing. Keep up with the culture war, and we'll see things like this continue to happen, and hopefully, it will affect the culture in the long run. And I think that's a good revelation. So yeah, Diz is right. Jeremy and Ryan, their weekend date is ruined. So that's unfortunate, but too bad for them. They'll have to find another thing. But along the lines of wins, and this is too bad that this
saving
happened
up
in
for
the
that
first place.
FurryCon visit.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. Ryan, you said falling down. Man, Ryan's going to have a falling down of his own if he goes to that. Here, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has been charged with first-degree murder in the state of Texas as an adult. So do you know what that means in Texas, potentially? He's been charged as an adult, first degree. You freaking stabbed a kid in the heart, man. So I say let justice be served. And this is a good revelation. A lot of us thought justice was on hold in this country. And looks like he's being charged appropriately. So what do you guys think of this? I think it's deserved for sure after what he did.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
More than fair.
I do too.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not the only thing that they've charged him with, because who knows what a jury will find, based on the qualifications of this charge.
Right. And I agree with Brisket, Fafo, F around and find out. So he's about to find out. And may justice be served. So that covers that. Let me just see. I agree with UK Gamer. Texas for the win. Let me just check one more thing.
We're winning a lot down here.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
That's a good question, Diz. What about poor Mo?
That's true. What's he gonna do? So we have another win.
Testing tour.
I'm not playing that clip right now. Actor Zachary Levi. Many of you guys, he was in the thumbnail Shazam, famous from the DC movies. He says some in Hollywood won't work with him because of his Trump support. So he's leaving. He says, you don't want me, I don't want you. Mutual feelings here.
Good.
Yeah, I believe he moved to Texas.
I believe so, yeah. And I think that's a big win. And I think that more in Hollywood should hopefully follow his tracks. And, we're seeing more and more of this, people standing up for themselves. And here it says, Zachary works in the entertainment industry known for its far left politics, intolerance for different opinions, and willingness to blackball or cancel people for speaking out. Levi, knowing the risk of doing so, made the brave decision in 2024 to openly support a politician who is openly hated by Hollywood. President Donald Trump. Trump is effectively the industry's biggest enemy, someone who actors like Robert De Niro, musicians like Bruce Springsteen, and corporate executives like Bob Iger or Jeffrey, how do you say that? Katzenberg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have either disparaged or publicly fought against. Okay. He spoke to Variety about what's happened to him in the aftermath of the election while trying to keep working in a business that doesn't tolerate dissent. That's very interesting.
They're all already omitting a part where he was a backer of RFK in the first place. And, he was kind of left wing. But once they did what they did to RFK and RFK came out for Trump, then he, followed him. So he
cool.
wasn't really, a huge supporter until RFK got him.
No, and I would say Zachary's not even your stereotypical. He's not a Republican. He's not a conservative.
No, definitely not. He's more of a libertarian, I would say.
Yeah, probably left-leaning libertarian. I bet you get into social issues. But, the guy wants a healthy country. He wants secure borders, and he wants common sense stuff. That's why he voted for Trump. And I think it says a lot about Hollywood. We know Hollywood's been going down for a while now, and we'll have to see how it goes. I think Riskit, that's pretty cool. I haven't heard about that. Zachary potentially working with Rippaverse.
I
That
think I
would be
saw
cool.
something about
Yeah,
that.
they were on Twitter talking about it.
Really? I missed that. That would be awesome. A lot of us here like Rippaverse.
It was the
and,
same day he
awesome to
announced that
see.
he was going to be at the Dallas Fan Expo next weekend, and I went online and bought a ticket to get a photo op.
Fantastic. That is awesome. That's super
I'll
cool.
be seeing
So
him
I
next
hope that happens. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, when you get a picture with him, we'll have to show it if you want to show it on stream sometime. That'd be cool.
Also, real quick, I just want to make one small little change. It's
Sure.
actors and musicians. That's all.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, I think I like what Gary says, Nerdrotic, he calls them adult pretenders. That's what I like to
Yep.
call them,
I like that.
So, yeah. Yeah, I agree with Just JK. He's a classical liberal. He's a Democrat from the 90s, so
But I think he's starting to see what's really going on though too. And
I think you're right.
It's refreshing. Even if they're all about, voting left, as long as you can see what's actually going on, because a lot of people still can't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oop. We dropped Nerd Slap. We'll see if we get him back in a second. But no, I agree with him. This is the side of, we'll see if Nerd Slap gets back. Give it a second. We'll see the side, Cornboy, they always talk about.
One thing I know that he worked with Adam Baldwin on the show Chuck, and Adam Baldwin is a huge supporter of the Republican Party, so he might have got some influence from him, and I hope so, because Adam Baldwin's a great actor and a hell of an American.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Not Alec Baldwin.
No,
Not
definitely not Alec.
No, not so much. But you were saying Nerd Slap, the side of people, they talk about tolerance and stuff, and he's waking up, it seems, because they tried to cancel him for his honest opinion. Do you think he's going to come around in the years? He might even drift further. You want to say to the right, more common sense,
Well, I don't want to piss off StreamYard again, because I think they got mad about what I said. But
yeah,
no, I think it could happen. Maybe not. In the next couple of years, but I think it could very possibly happen where he maybe comes over to the right.
I think it's possible.
Just because of how things are going, especially it's getting rough.
I hope more people follow his example too, because I know he's not the only one out there that feels the way he does about the situation.
Absolutely. There's many people, I think, in Hollywood that are too afraid to speak up, and they just toe the line because they feel like that's what they have to do, and that is what they have to do to be successful in that horrible town, And if only they knew that there was a big subsect of people, in real America and the rest of the world, that we will watch their stuff outside of Hollywood. We'll follow them wherever they go. Look at Gina Carano. Look at Tucker Carlson. He got canceled from Fox. I like them so much more now that they're away from these companies. Before, I feel like that was dumbing down their talents and their ability to be great. And after
they had to
leaving
restrict themselves, and now they don't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. We see them for who they are, and we like them for that. So
good for him.
Yeah. So let's continue this article. It says here from Zachary, I know that there are people that would prefer not to work with me now because of my opinions. My team has let me know. Levi said about his representatives at United Talent Agency in Beverly Hills. They haven't given me any specific names, but there are people who prefer not to work with me at this time. And it's unfortunate. I knew that this was probably going to happen. I didn't make this decision blindly or casually. And, he's making the point. He's not even complaining here. It's your right to work with in a free society anyway, to work with whoever you want to work with and not work with who you don't want to work with. But it's very evidential here that talk about timing. They wanted to work with him before, but the moment he goes against the grain, they drop him like a bad habit. So they don't have to say what the reason was. We can figure it out with our own eyes. So
They'll never admit the real reason why.
No,
they never will.
Not
But they'll always make up some other excuse for it. I mean, we know the truth.
Yeah, we do. And wherever Zachary goes, whatever content he puts out, if he starts a podcast, if he does shows with another agency, what company, studio, maybe Angel Studios, maybe Rippaverse, who knows. I will watch it. I'll buy the product if it's good, and support people that support us. And it says here the best part is he doesn't even care. I think he knows that he doesn't need to be beholden to these crazies in Hollywood anymore. And it says here, Zachary Levi trying to fix entertainment himself. Levi told Variety that the entertainment business is in serious trouble, particularly Hollywood, after years of producing politically motivated lectures that flopped at the box office. AI is about to be the nail in the coffin, he said, and we wonder why LA has become the Detroit of the entertainment industry. And man, I've never been to that city, but from what I've heard, the videos I've seen, man, LA is not a place you want to be. He talks about Detroit, after they pulled all the industry out, that was a hellhole. And yeah, from what I'm seeing of LA, man, not a place I want to be, And to combat this, Levi's in the midst of fundraising to complete an envisioned $100 million studio in Austin, Texas. Nice. With several 20,000 square foot sound stages, along with some performance venues, hospitality options, and a restaurant. If Hollywood won't work with you because of their short-sighted political extremism, leave Hollywood. Man, that is quote of the decade right there, I think. If they don't align with you, leave them.
Yeah.
Love it or
Don't stick around. Shoot.
He's
Exactly.
like, man, I'll just start my own studio. Screw this.
I'll just do my own thing, and
It'd be like the meme when they say, go create your own space, and then you create your own space and they come begging to be in it.
Exactly. Like the left has always been saying, fine, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And we're like, okay, we won't. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then they're like, why don't you buy my stuff? You bigots. It's like, because you suck. That's why. So more power to him. And I agree with Just JK totally. I think Zach, he's going to be fine going forward. We're going to check his stuff out. He's a talented actor. And I look forward to seeing what he creates. So that's pretty cool. We're going to wrap up this article, but this is a cool thing. He says here, Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks and all those OGs knew it over 100 years ago. Hollywood was broken then, and we needed a better system, he said about the entertainment industry. This industry is crumbling around us. In order for it to survive, we have to have a space for artists that will foster certified organic human-made content. So I like that. Organic human-made content, not creation by committee, but a vision of a visionary, a creative visionary, and a real artist, the George Lucas type, from the ground up, organic, not the risk adverse studios that only care about the bottom line.
Yeah, and the people who love filmmaking and don't have to create films with 1,000 people involved to push budgets up. You don't need that much money to make a good film. Really don't.
And you don't need DEI. Let's get back into doing merit-based work. Based on you're hired, depending how good you are. We might have some good entertainment if that's the rules they live by in this case. So we're gonna wrap up this article. Levi, in comparison to those on the political left in Hollywood, like De Niro or say Snow White star Rachel Zegler, doesn't criticize others for having different beliefs. He never has. He's never criticized anybody. He says, I believe what I believe, you do you. He's never bashed anyone. I've never heard him say that. And while Zegler says she hopes Trump supporters never know peace, Levi didn't blame her. So we're going to leave it there. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Outkick.com, the Zachary Levi article. And I just have to say, I hope he does great things. I hope this Austin, Texas studio thing works out well. And
I'll ask him how it's going when I see him next week.
Nice, for sure. Let us know what you hear back. And I'm a fan of his. So Nerd Slap, I know you in a few minutes got to get over there to Off the Hip. We're going to be raiding into that stream right when we wrap up here at 9:00. And first, I just want to give a little shout out. You have over on YouTube, you just recently hit 100 subs over on the Nerd Files, man. Congrats. That's awesome.
Sure.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And we got the link to that in the description. If you guys aren't subbed, go over there right now and sub to the Nerd Files. Nerd Slap is doing good stuff. They got a lot of shows. I think you're on what episode?
Episode 8 will be dropping either tonight or tomorrow, most likely.
Nice. This week, anyway. So that's awesome. So guys, keep an eye out for that. And good things you got going on over there.
Content.
And you're on Kick, and you're on X, and you're on everywhere. And you're going to be on Off the Hip in a minute here. So anything else you'd like to plug? I didn't think of. Tell people where to find you.
Yeah, no, you can mainly I stream over on Kick, so you can find me there most of the time. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a little live stream after Off the Hip tonight, so hopefully that all goes well. I'm going to be ideally checking out Meld Studio, but I'm going to be using Prism Studio to do so. So two new
Nice.
programs at once. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So,
See how that goes.
yeah,
Well,
because
man, best wishes with
OBS
that.
has been kind of messing up lately, both software-wise and human-wise. So
I've been meaning to ask you, are you
hearing
going
that.
to be making any of the Minecraft content off of our server?
I may make some videos on that. I know that Stankman in the chat, he was saying he wants to stream it over on his Kick channel, and I'm like, you should
Nice.
totally do that. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Like, people will love
Awesome.
that, dude. So, but yeah, otherwise you
Awesome.
can find me on Twitter or over on my YouTube channel. So I'm pretty much everywhere on the internet. You'll find me somewhere. So
Well,
Awesome.
you'll
Thanks for
especially find him in 15, 20 minutes on ABF's Off the Hip.
Which we will be rating into. So thanks for coming on, Nerds Up. You're welcome on absolutely anytime. You always have a seat at the table. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you on Off the Hip. So
thank you. Yeah, thanks again for the invite. I'm definitely looking
Thanks for
forward to
coming,
coming
man.
back.
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Look forward to it. Have a good
All
time.
right. See y'all in a little bit.
See you in a bit.
Peace. Nice. So round of applause. Thank you, Nerd Slap. We appreciate it. And guys, definitely check out his stuff. We want to support good people in the culture war, you know, some based people, based individuals, and doing some good things. So
And he is a perennial, almost bi-weekly or weekly winner on the meme contest.
quite
Wednesday
often.
nights.
Yeah, he is killing it over on
He
making
is.
memes. And actually, check out on Twitter. Check out his Twitter right now. He made a meme of the three of us, me, Cornboy, and
Yes.
him. So it's pretty awesome. If you want to see that meme, go check out his Twitter. So we have a couple more articles I'd like to just go over before we raid into Off the Hip in 15 minutes. So I think this is very relevant for today. This is an article from That Park Place. This is a site I like to frequent a lot. They're pretty good. They talk about a lot of good stuff in the culture war. Their authors are usually pretty solid, and I like their work, so that's why I reference them a lot. I wouldn't reference a site if I didn't like it. So this is an opinion piece from Marvin Montanaro, and it says here, opinion. This Memorial Day, we remember the heroes that Hollywood forgot. And I think that's something that hits with a lot of us. You know, Hollywood, they're elevating the wrong people nowadays. They're elevating the people who have contributed nothing to the society, and they're putting aside the real heroes of our country. And let's take a moment here to talk about that. As you see here, we have Captain America. What a concept, having a patriotic superhero in a movie, you know, foreign concept.
You know,
nowadays.
being about America. I mean, who would have
Yeah.
thought that you
Crazy.
can have a hero like that?
I know. What a concept. You can actually love your country, you know. But here it says, as the nation pauses to honor its fallen defenders this Memorial Day, we at That Park Place want to take the moment to reflect not only the sacrifices made by those who served, but the stories we tell about them and what it means when those stories begin to fade. And that's something I think a lot of us here on the stream and in the chat, we value that greatly. Storytelling encapsulates the legendarium of a society. You know, it's history, and in the stories we tell, it's myth, it's legend, and we should be lifting up our real heroes in these
We
stories.
should be
and not-
expecting them to make great stories about our heroes.
we should hold them to a higher standard, the storytellers of our society. We should.
Yeah.
And I think this article sums that up well. For generations, Hollywood was one of the great American storytellers. Through film, it captured the grit, courage, and resilience of those who stepped forward in moments of global crisis and gave them the spotlight and honor they deserved. And comes to mind to me right now, Clint Eastwood, Mel Gibson, others like that. You know, they really were good at encapsulating that heroism and honor in the heroes of our country and, you know, heroes of history. And as you can see here, we have a great picture of a veteran and his granddaughter. It's fantastic. Movies that we're all familiar with, like Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is fantastic, one of the greatest series of all time. Cornboy, have you ever watched Band of Brothers, the 10-part series?
I've only seen clips. I have not watched it all the way through.
That may be a good watch party sometime because I think anybody, if you like World War II stuff, good movies and shows about that, highly recommend it. Everybody's familiar with Saving Private Ryan, and The Longest Day. Didn't just
Yeah, that's good.
entertain. I actually haven't seen The Longest Day. That's the only one
wow.
there I haven't seen.
Watch
Gotta
party for
check
that one.
out. Yeah, yeah, just JK, man. Check out Band of Brothers for sure. Highly recommended.
Mhm.
They didn't just entertain, they reminded us of the cost of liberty and the value of courage. What a great thing. They immortalized the American soldier not as a symbol of conquest, but as a shield against tyranny. They gave the world a window into a nation that didn't stand idly by when the stakes were highest. The soldiers of the United States who fought in World War II weren't abstract concepts or background players in someone else's narratives. They were the ones who tipped the tide, who crossed the oceans not for glory, but to stand beside allies and push back against rising darkness. They weren't perfect, but they were willing to risk everything for the idea that freedom mattered, that people mattered. And, we can say what we will about wars through history, and there's unfortunate tragedies that happen in every single war. We know this. But for these young kids, and they were kids, these guys, look at these guys going to Normandy. These guys were kids, to today's standard. And a lot of them had their lives cut short, way too young.
I mean, shoot, back in those days, the kids would lie to say they're 18 to get into the war. I mean, now in their 20s, kids are
Yep.
young men these days are just like, not even supporting the country, let alone willing to fight for it.
They're out there burning our nation's flag in the street, spitting on it. Well, these guys were dying for it, at a younger age. And it's shameful now. So hopefully we can bring it back and bring some honor back to our country.
And it has
Hopefully,
to do with the culture that's being pushed on them by these storytellers. I think you're right.
big time. That's why we are so motivated to take our culture back. Call us culture warriors, whatever you want to call it, cultural crusade, anything. But we just want good stuff. We want the youth to be watching good things again. And so here it says, and for decades, the world remembered that. Those stories resonate across borders, not because they were propaganda, but because they were true. In some cases, you can make the argument Disney was involved in a little bit of propaganda here and there, but whatever. I'm pro-America all the way, so let's go. Yet in recent years, Hollywood seems increasingly hesitant to embrace this legacy. There's been a quiet turning, I would say not so quiet, but they say quiet turning away from traditional portrayals of American heroism. Studio heads and cultural commentators now suggest that showcasing our servicemen and women in a positive light may be too political or might alienate international viewers. Oh well. I don't care. Appeal to the Americans first, I would say, if you're making American movies about America, anyway,
I mean, who are you
Crazy.
trying to preach to? Are you trying to
You trying to sell your movie to Mr. Ping over in China, or you want Mr. Smith over in America to buy your movie? Know your audience, basically.
Yeah.
And if you have to trim down your budget a little bit to make it more profitable for here, we'll learn to accept it. Just make good storytelling again, And some even argue that in the current political climate, stories of American valor are no longer globally viable. Like I said, rest of the world.
I mean,
don't
with
think
their dehumanization of men in general, bringing back positive male role models could have a great effect on society. And I don't know why they're hesitant in doing that. It would be popular.
Mm-hmm. And they don't want strong male role models anymore. They don't. They want a weakened society. They want beta males that are subject to manipulation and influence. So this was a great
Nobody
movie.
else wants that besides them. It's so weird.
I know. It's almost as if the people, like us, were saying, hey, be strong.
Who say they want it and they get it, they're like, no, not like that.
Exactly. They're never happy. And
No.
that's why we need more stuff like this. And we talk about Tom Cruise. I put him in the thumbnail for a reason. This guy, not perfect. I disagree with the Scientology stuff. That's weird. But this guy made Top Gun Maverick recently. One of the greatest, I would say,
around the country to support his movie,
Yes.
meeting fans and thanking them for their support, being a real advocate of his work and his co-workers' work, and I applaud him for it. He's doing the job.
so many stories of him. He goes to theaters, he takes care of the little guy, you know, people working on the crew on the movie set, he takes care of, he buys people their food, everything. And Top Gun Maverick, if you guys haven't seen the movie, watch it. It's a great pro-American movie. It's unashamedly patriotic, and that's what we need more of. This guy, I don't know where he stands politically. I don't think I've ever heard him say who he votes for. I can't recall personally. If anyone knows, let me know. But
I haven't heard.
yeah, that's the way it should be with our entertainers. Entertain, shut up about politics, and love the country you're in, which is America. So, it says here, let's be clear: the people of a nation are not the same as its government. Exactly. Love your country, hate your government. That's fine, you know. But I love my country. I'm very critical of the government, regardless of who's in office. Our government has a lot of work to be done, you know, fixing it. And soldiers don't choose the slogans on campaign buttons. They don't write foreign policy, but they do carry the weight of it. They serve, often in silence and often at great personal cost. It's very true. And I say, too, I think every war we've ever been involved in has its controversies. We can dissect it and say, was this moral? Was this not? Should we have been involved? Should we not? We can say that up to today with everything. But love the warrior, hate the war, you know, because a lot of these guys didn't have a choice. When they're in the heat of battle, they were fighting for the brother next to them. They weren't fighting for the politicians back home. They were fighting to survive, you know.
And of course, we need to remember what happened to our GIs after the Vietnam War. That was a great shame to demonize the kids that were sent over there.
They were sent against their will and forced to do things, and they came back and they were abused, you know, and many of them couldn't hold up to the weight of it. And we don't talk enough about veterans, you know, taking their own life away in this country, and veteran mental health. And it's a very important thing, you know, and if you guys know a veteran, reach out. Our veterans matter, you know, and I think it's beautiful to see guys like Pete Hegseth and Trump again, you know, supporting our veterans in the VA. So back to this real quick. We have a few more minutes. To shy away from honoring these individuals because it may not fit the latest ideological trend is not a sign of progress. It's a sign of cultural amnesia, and it robs future generations of understanding what sacrifice truly looks like. When Top Gun Maverick took the world by storm, it wasn't just nostalgia that drew people in, it was pride, it was respect, it was the quiet, unshakable feeling that someone was still out there doing the hard job with honor. That's what resonates, that's what uplifts. And I totally agree. I went into this movie, I barely recalled even seeing the first one. I wasn't even around when that first one came out. I didn't know the hype about it, you know. It's a good classic movie, awesome. But when this came out, we were in the dark of a real tough administration. We were in some dark times there for a little bit, and we needed a little shot in the arm, a little boost of patriotism. And thank you, Tom Cruise, for giving us that with this movie.
Yeah. And a whole lot of authoritarianism was going on at the time, and this
Absolutely.
kind of can be credited with bringing us out of it a bit.
Let's just say I didn't get to see this movie in the theaters because of some of that authoritarian stuff, and we saw it at home. It's perfectly fine. I was happy seeing it on the TV, but this would have been a fun movie, I think, with these epic dogfights to see on the big screen, and I hope they replay it someday in theaters. That would be pretty fun. So it says here, this Memorial Day, as families gather and flags are lowered at half-staff, we urge Hollywood to remember the role it once played, the power it once held to preserve memory, to elevate courage, and to inspire unity, not division. We can all unite under that flag. You know, we have our disagreements and stuff, but if you aren't able to unite under that American flag, then I don't know what's wrong with these people. So it says here, to every man and woman who has worn the uniform of the United States, we see you, we thank you, and those who never came home, your memory lives on, not just in monuments or holidays, but in every story that dares to honor the truth of what you gave. And they wrap up the article with that, and I totally agree. Fantastic article from That Park Place. I commend them for writing this. This was an opinion piece, and I think it's a great thing for a lot of us to remember, you know. Remember our veterans on this day, and that's what matters most, you know. It's them. So they're the reason we're here. We can talk about this, you know, as much as the radical wackos on the other side of the aisle might wish to silence us, and one day they may try to again. You know, social media has had its times. Thankfully, we can even talk about this on. Stay vigilant. Exactly. Keep the pressure up. Don't become lackadaisical. Keep keep fighting for free speech as long as you may go on.
Stay
And,
true to your values.
absolutely. Never compromise. So I am grabbing the link right now for Off the Hip, and we're going to do a quick outros before we raid over into there. And Cornboy, I have your link to your Twitter down below. If people would like to go check that out, go follow Cornboy on X. What do you think? What this Memorial Day? Your final thoughts?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of optimism these days. A lot of people are going out and doing things and being outside and celebrating. And I hope, with under this administration, the good times keep rolling, and people will see that common sense will win the day in the end.
I completely agree.
We've kind of lost out on that the past few years, and we need to bring it back a little bit. Bring back what made America great was individualism and free expression and just being yourself.
Absolutely. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't put on a fake facade for people. Be honest. The truth will, not to be
Transparent.
stereotypical. Yeah, the truth will set you free. Embrace that. Seek it always. Remember, God gave us this country. Always, never forsake that. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, UK Gamer. I know you've served your country honorably. Thank you over across the pond. Appreciate you as well, our allies. He's back, and I appreciate you. He's helping us out with the watch hours, watching our stuff. I appreciate you very much, man. It means a lot. We recently hit 300 watch hours here on this channel and 250 subs, so we're making progress.
Halfway there. I'd say by the end of the year, we'll be rip-roaring.
We will see. We will see. It's not even about the numbers. It's about all you guys in the chat. It's an awesome thing. I think I speak for myself. I think I speak for everybody who's come on the show. It's a great way to get stuff off our chest. Good,
and we're having a good time doing it.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Absolutely. So thanks. Hope to see you all next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. As always, go check out right now. I'm dropping the link in the chat. Go watch Off the Hip over on ABF's channel. You'll see Nerd Slap over there. You'll see Cornboy and I in the chat, and a lot of these good people here as well. Go tell them Isaac sent you. Go do a raid, and hope to see you guys next Monday night. So have a good week. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you,
Happy
veterans
Memorial
and Gold
Day,
Star
everyone.
families, for your service. And
Have a great
God bless
rest of your
America.
week.
Amen. See you guys later. If I can end the stream and not press the wrong button. Let's
You
go.
can do
in
it.
1 second. I can do it. End stream. There we go.